started in about a minute or two, so if everyone wants to start filing into the seating area, so we can get started promptly. We have a lot of great candidates and campaigns here and lots to get to. So, is it me or was that not loud enough? That was fine? Okay. Hello. I'm good. How are you? Of course. Because it shouldn't even be here. Okay. Aziz.
Hi, Aziz. Glad to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting us.
So our original plan, we had, I don't know, you probably saw when you came in, we had the table set up, and we were going to have a panel, but we planned for the table to get bigger.
Yeah.
So only, not a lot of space to squeeze everything. So this open fireside tonight is probably better.
And we don't need the fire today.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
The side.
Just the size. This is the side check. Yeah.
How are you? Okay, thank you. My backup candidate.
I'm sorry. Did we miss anyone's? I think this might be the water bottle that we're come on up.
Thank you very much. Nice seeing you. How are you?
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started, inshallah. So if everyone can take a seat and go ahead and get started with tonight's forum. Welcome, candidates. Thank you guys so much for joining.
Appreciate you.
Nice to meet you.
Yes.
So originally the plan was, so we invited all the county libraries, so at large in the county district, and then also the surrounding districts of the mosque. So depending on the numbers that we got, we had 3 different panels. But it seems like it makes sense to just stick to one since all you guys are all countywide.
How about the county executive?
Yeah, so I think you actually might be the only county executive, the one who's in the county executive race that is here tonight.
Oh, they're not even coming.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was we put this together pretty rapidly.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it does. Okay, so start. Okay. Alrighty, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, everyone, and good evening. For those of you who are joining us here for the first time, welcome to the Muslim Community Center of Silver Spring. My name is Aziz Ahmed. I serve on the board of directors here at the Muslim Community Center, and I've also been a community member here and a resident of Montgomery County, Maryland, since I was born. Not too long ago, I should add. You know, we're really excited and thankful for everyone who's joined us here tonight, whether it be candidates or community members. This forum is, you know, really an opportunity for us as the MCC to allow our Montgomery County residents and community members to have a direct and informed look at the candidates seeking to represent them. So this is a nonpartisan civic event. Our goal is simple. We're going to ask fair questions. We're hoping to have honest answers, and all that leading to an informed community. So I do want to begin by stating for the record that the Muslim Community Center does not endorse, support, or oppose any candidate or political party. All candidates for relevant offices were invited on equal terms. This forum exists solely to inform voters and encourage civic participation. So before we actually begin with the questioning and the conversation that we're going to have with the candidates, I actually want to do a little bit of community education about the offices represented here tonight and why these local elections actually matter. So many voters are familiar with presidential, gubernatorial, congressional elections, but local government often has the most direct impact on the lives on our daily lives. And so decisions about our schools, roads, public safety, housing, transportation, library, parks, youth services, and county taxes are often made right here in Montgomery County. And so we do have two main countywide races represented here today, or candidates represented here today. So I'll start off with the county executive. The county executive serves as the chief executive officer of Montgomery County and is responsible for leading government operations. So some of these responsibilities include proposing the county budget, managing county agencies and departments, implementing laws passed by the county council, leading county responses to emergencies and public safety issues, setting policy priorities for housing, transportation, economic development, and social services, and appointing leaders of various county departments and boards. And so in many ways, the county executive serves a role similar to the governor at the county level. And then county council at large are also countywide races where they serve as the legislative branch of Montgomery County government. And some of their responsibilities include passing local laws and ordinances, approving and modifying the county budget, providing oversight of the county agencies and spending, making decisions regarding land use, development, and planning, and also representing the residents' concerns and priorities. And so Montgomery County has 11 council members. 5 are elected at large and represent every resident in Montgomery County, regardless of where they live. 4. I'm sorry about that. Thank you. And hopefully this one is correct. 6 are, actually I think it's 7. 7 are, there we go. See? You know, I was testing everyone actually. So there we go. There we go. And again, and then there's 7 county representatives who represent specific wards within, or districts rather, we call them here in Montgomery County. And you know, they focus in on the local issues relevant to that district: traffic and road safety concerns, development, zoning proposals, public infrastructure projects, and so on. So why does this matter, right? These individuals elected to these offices will help to shape Montgomery County's priorities and policies for years to come. So whether the issue is housing, education, you know, and housing affordability, might I add, public safety, transportation, economic opportunity, youth services, mental health, you name it, right? These elected officials are going to play a role in determining how the county resources are allocated and how government responds to the community needs, okay? So without further ado, let's hear from the candidates. And what I will do is we're going to do introductions. We're going to start with our representative who's running for county executive, Mithun Banjari, and we'll give a 1-minute opening statement. Okay? And then hopefully, if this mic works all well, you're more than welcome to stand.
Thank you. Thank you, host, and thank you, everybody who are running with us. We appreciate, because this is the wonderful display of democracy, whether we agree or not, but we always respect each other. So and also, I have the privilege and honor to come over here in front of you. Unfortunately, my colleagues running with me as a county executive didn't think it's important for them to come here and see you. What a shame. So anyway, so you matter to me. My name is Mithun Banerjee. I was born in India. I came to this country with 2 suitcases and some books. After almost quarter to a century, I'm running here in front of you as a county executive. I have a master's in electrical, bachelor electronics communication, review panel member for National Science Foundation, NASA, DoD, Office of Naval Research, and also received proclamation from President Obama 2015 in White House RP event, and also invited to White House by President Biden and First Lady Dr. Jill Biden in 2023. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a change on this county because it's not working for us anymore. The tax is going high, high, and high. Rich is not paying enough money. So I'm going to make sure that we don't pay too much taxes for working class people. The rich should be paying more, and the deficit will be paid by them, not by us.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. And I should mention, I will be that annoying person who will try to keep us to time tonight, all righty? So next, we have a wide range of members who are running for county council at large, who are going to be joining us here tonight. And so we are going to start with Mr. Scott Goldberg.
Didn't even have to say anything to get a round of applause. This is a very welcoming crowd. Thank you for having all of us. Thank you for participating in our democracy. Later this month, we're going to see how many Democrats voted on our primary, and over 200,000 registered Democrats aren't going to be bothered to show up to the polls. So I just want to thank you in advance for being actively engaged in the democratic process. My name is Scott Goldberg. I am a dad, Democrat, husband. I'm a small business owner, I'm an attorney, and a couple years ago, when my son didn't have a teacher in his classroom one day, I raised my hand to serve as a substitute teacher. Montgomery County has a lot of problems, but it's a great place to live, and I think if we work hard and do things intelligently, it can be an even better place, and I appreciate you guys coming and look forward to the conversation this evening.
Awesome, right on time. Thank you, Mr. Goldberg. All righty, next we have Ms. Carla Silvestri.
Thank you, thank you. Carla Silvestre, running for school board. It's like, I'm on the school board and I'm running for county council at large. I am an immigrant from Guatemala. My family came here fleeing political persecution. I learned English. We lost legal status and then eventually got political asylum with a lot of hard work and a lot of great people that helped us along the way. My family was able to get ahead in this country. I work at Montgomery College helping people get connected with education and training so they can get better jobs. I've been twice elected countywide for the Board of Education, and I worked for the Leggett administration as a community liaison. I'm going to prioritize support for our small businesses, more housing for our young people and our seniors, good jobs for our community, great public schools, and welcoming communities for all of us. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to your questions.
Awesome, thank you so much. And next, we will have Ms. Vicky Vergani. There we go. Thank
Yes,
you.
I had the crazy sense to marry an Italian, but I'm really Norwegian. I am delighted to be here. This is kind of on my bucket list of something I've really wanted to do. I've been working at this as a private citizen because my issue is affordable home ownership. I don't know how many of you live in condos or apartments, but I'm telling you, John is on my board of directors at the condominium that I manage, and I'm president of the board and the on-site manager. And my issue really is affordable home ownership. Not affordable housing, affordable home ownership. We need to develop legacy wealth in Montgomery County. That is the only way that the kids are going to be able to buy homes in the future or to get a home in the future. So I'm focusing on affordable home ownership. I'm also interested in resident-focused development from day one, not after the planning board has already approved everything and worked endlessly with the developer. So I want to work with you and hear what you want to do. I'm your voice for our values and our vision. Thank you.
Thank you. And next, we're going to have Mr. Jim McNulty.
Thank you. Salam alaikum. My name is Jim McNulty, and I have the honor of serving on the Gaithersburg City Council. I've been elected twice, and I've been married for 25 years, 2 wonderful children, both just graduated in the past 2 weeks, so very busy time in the McNulty household. But I'm running for Montgomery County Council at large because I believe the government should make it easier to live, work, and play, and a lot of the decisions that have been made at the county level recently have been making it more difficult and more affordable. I got involved in public service because in 2010, I was one of 3 people who was taken hostage at the Discovery Channel in Silver Spring, and the Montgomery County Police saved my life. So I have seen firsthand what happens when somebody does not have access to proper mental health care. But I'm standing here before you because I did. And I want to make sure that everybody in our community never has to worry about active shooters, has to worry about the safety of their community. So I am here today running for at-large because, quite frankly, when I see an issue, I lean in. I've been an HOA president. I've served on a school board at my parish. I've been on city committees, and then I got elected to the city council. So I look forward to the conversation. Jim McNulty from Montgomery County Council at
Thank you
large.
very much, Mr. McNulty. And next we have Ms. Fatima Taberi.
Assalamu alaikum. Come on. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Thank you. My name is Fatma Taberi. I am running for Montgomery County Council at large. I live not too far down the street in White Oak. I've lived in the community in this area now for the past 24 years, for as long as I've lived here in Maryland. I grew up in South Florida. I was originally born in Sierra Leone. I moved here at the age of 11 to the U.S., and I've lived here since. I'm an attorney. I practice special education and immigration law. And I have been a vocal activist and advocate in this community for as long as I've lived here. I will say I'm probably the only one who's running for these races, for this seat, who has been very vocal publicly about issues that impact this community, that impacts East County, that impacts the Muslim community, that impacts us as a people. I am running because things are expensive. I am running because our children need the resources they need in order to make it in school. So Fatma Taberi, running for Montgomery County Council at large.
Thank you so much. Next we have Ms. Lori Ann Sales.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. My name is Lori Ann Sales. I'm honored to serve as your council member at large. So this center, the community center, is not new to me. It was one of the first events I actually attended when you did a health fair back in 2022. And the entire room from the first floor to downstairs was filled, and the work you all do here is incredibly important. I'm also chair of our Health and Human Services Committee. Prior to being elected as the first Black woman in Montgomery County, first Jamaican American as the daughter of immigrants, is Caribbean Heritage Month, so if we have any Caribbeans in the building, celebrate the month, and it's also Men's Health Month as well. When I used to serve on the city council, I served for 4 years before being elected to the county council, and I ran on a SMART agenda in 2022. And that's the message I took to every door. That's the message that I've used on the council. And the SMART agenda is my policy platform to, number one, strengthen our commitment to education from cradle to career and beyond. It's the most important thing we can do for our children and community. Make living in our county more affordable. Right now, everyone hates going to the gas station, and I know you are feeling the pinch. We also have the largest agricultural reserve in the country.
That is time. I'm so sorry, Ms. Lori Ann Sales. Just to keep
And
it
I
fair.
cannot
Yeah.
wait to answer more of your questions. Thank you so much for hosting us,
Awesome.
and I look forward to sharing more of my SMART agenda.
Again, sorry to be, but I'm going to be that now just to keep us on time. Next we have Mr. Matt Lozak.
Good evening, everybody. Matt Losak. I'm running for County Council at large. A lot of you might know me as the co-founder and executive director of the Montgomery County Renters Alliance, which we founded in 2010 as the first and only regional nonprofit dedicated exclusively to renter outreach, education, organizing, and advocacy. Nearly 40% of Montgomery County live in rental housing. We passed the first rent stabilization law in Montgomery County. We have been fighting for good cause eviction protection to make sure no one is evicted from their home without a very good reason. We believe that it's very important that stable housing relates to everything that we do: community health, welfare, prosperity, the success of our children in our schools. When children have to move from school to school because their homes are not stable or because they're infested with rats or cockroaches, they cannot study, they cannot succeed. So that is my top priority, is to protect and preserve affordable housing. I'm also very interested in increasing the effectiveness and the strength of our county government, and of course to increase the oversight of our
Thank you
schools.
very much, Mr.
Thank you.
Matt. Awesome. And next we have the representative from the Ridwan Chowdhury campaign.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. My name is Nahid Chowdhury, and it is honor to be here on behalf of my husband Redwan Chaudhary, candidate for Montgomery County Council at large. First, please allow me to convey his sincere gratitude to the organizers and all of you for being here today. Redwan deeply regrets that he cannot join you in person. At this moment, he is on Saudi Arabia performing Hajj, Alhamdulillah. One of the most sacred obligations of our faith. While he is thousands of miles away, his heart remains with Montgomery County and with our community. Montgomery County is one of the most diverse communities in America. Nearly 2/3 of our residents are immigrants or children of immigrants. This diversity is our strength, and it deserves representation at every level of government. That is why Muslim representation matters. Representation is not only about serving one faith or one community. It is about ensuring that every resident has a voice at the table and that our government reflects the people it serves. For decades, Redwan has been actively involved in both our local community and mainstream civic life. He has served on the boards of multiple Islamic centers, currently serves as a faith advisor to the Maryland Comptroller, and has worked to build bridges across faiths, cultures, and communities. Alhamdulillah, he has been endorsed by the Montgomery County Muslim Coalition,
And
one
that's
of the largest Muslim coalition in Montgomery County,
Thank you
as
very
well as
much.
many other organizations, community leaders, and elected officials, both locally and nationally, who recognize his constant commitment and public service.
Thank you.
Thank you
We'll
so
get
much.
into
He's
it.
not here. That's why I'm trying to explain everything.
Yeah.
He's writing this message for everybody.
And we can get
Thank you
into
so
it
much.
throughout the rest of the program and the closing statement.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, just to keep it fair. All right, we're also joined by Councilmember Christine Mink from District 5.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Kristen Mink, and it's an honor to be here with you all today. I am your current County Council representative representing this district, District 5, and first I want to thank you for always welcoming me into your community and for the incredible work that you all do on the ground to support our community, which I have had the blessing of being able to witness and partner with firsthand, and I am so deeply grateful. Together, we have worked to help prevent the eviction of literally hundreds of people, actually, many units worth of our families because of partnership with you all, with MCC community members, with ISWA community members, being able to step in and partner with some of our most vulnerable refugee families who are facing eviction, as well as your medical clinic. I refer so many people to your medical clinic, to the dental clinic. It was my pleasure to fight for and to get additional funding for the MCC dental clinic in this last budget, which we had not had previously, and we finally will have moving forward. Was that time?
Yep,
Okay.
that is time, sorry. That 1 minute
Thank
goes
you.
quite fast,
It
but
does,
we'll get
okay.
into it throughout. And then, so I can take it here, and then let me get this. So we have, and then Ms. Sharon Creed, who's actually running for Board of Education for District 3.
Hi, I'm very happy to be here. I grew up in China in a Muslim community, so I have all my neighbors Muslim. I love Muslim people and I respect your culture. So now I'm running for the Board of Education. I would like to represent your community in the school board. So when you have any questions, you can come to me and I can try to resolve the problem for you. Any complaints like opt out from those books, I support you. And I really love Muslim people, and you work very hard, diligent, smart, and I love Muslim food too. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay, so we're gonna, before I begin, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up the floor for questions. So how we're gonna do questions is, as you can see on the screen, we have a QR code to, oh, that was your 1 minute. Thank you. So thank you for staying on time. Maybe I was done, right? So Slido.com is a neat tool where you guys can just either scan the QR code or go to the website and put in that code, and you can submit your questions. Or you could do the old-fashioned way. We got some note cards on your chair and some volunteers around with it. You can write down your question, and then we have some volunteers. If Sister Farhani, you want to raise your hand on this side, who's going to take a question, and Brother Hassan, who's going to take your questions as well. Folks, and we'll shuffle through the questions. Again, we're going to try to get through all the questions we possibly can, but just keeping that in mind, okay? So while we're getting questions from the audience, I wanted to go ahead and kick off the conversation, okay? So we'll have, for the open responses, we'll keep it to 90 seconds, but if we could try to be brief, that would be great. Okay, awesome. We have Mr. Elrich, who's also joining us. He actually has a seat up here, so he can come on up. You know? Yes. Oh, okay. Is it a county race? Oh, county ride. Why not? So we'll do this. Mr. Elrich is here. I'll let him do his 1 minute introduction. The brother right here is going to help you with the chair, and then we'll get to you, Judge. Okay. Well, actually, you know what? Since you're up here, why don't you do this? Okay. There we go. Thank you for pointing that out, sister. I appreciate it.
Thank you for pointing that out. Thank you.
Oh. We're going to be rubbing shoulders up here. So. Go ahead. The time is yours.
Oh, good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. My name is Mary Lynn Pierre, and I am a candidate for Montgomery County Circuit Court Judge. I've been practicing law for over 34 years. I am licensed to practice law in the state of Maryland, the District of Columbia, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and the state of New York. I think it's very important that we know what happens in the courtrooms, because sometimes we find ourselves in the courtrooms because of language differences. It's really hard for us to understand what's going on. English is my third language, so I'm very careful when I have a case where someone's primary language is not English. And sometimes some people don't understand that it's really hard for what happens to be translated in one word as opposed to the couple of words that it sometimes takes for one language to turn into another one. And I think it's also very important that culture is respected. I have very much respect for the Muslim culture. That's why I wanted to make myself as modest as possible today. So please remember me, Mary Lynn Pierre, for Judge Mary Lynn for Maryland. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And then we're going to have our current county executive, but running for county council at large, Mr. Mark Elrich.
I'm going to try to do something in a minute, which is probably impossible. I'm Mark Elrich. I'm the current county executive. I'm running for the county council at large. I think a lot of you know me. I've been working with the Muslim community for over 20 years. And we've developed, I think, a strong relationship. I've helped with clinics. I've helped with finding facilities. I've made sure that our programs serve your community as well as every other community, and that we've tried to be as equitable as possible. That is Montgomery County's standard. I go back to the time when Tufail Ahmad was running for the council. We were both running at large at that time. And Tufail and I supported each other. And I was willing to go out publicly and say, with all the other candidates up there on the platform, Tufail was the one I supported. He made a major step for the Muslim community, I think one of the most important ones. His decision to do politics put you into the mainstream. It took you out of being a group in which people didn't know you to a group that knew who you were. Tufail was a great advocate. I worked with him, and I've worked with your leadership for the last 20 years, literally. So I hope you'll consider me, and thank you very much.
All righty. Thank you, Mr. Elrich. Okay, so I think we got everyone. Actually, one of you can hold on to the mic, because what we're going to do is just pass it around as we open up the Q&A. So what I'll do here is, and I should probably speak into the mic. So not only that the folks here can hear us, but also we're live streaming. So many of our community members who couldn't be here in person are also watching from home. So again, as the cards are coming in, and I'm going to check the Slido in a second, I'm going to open up with a question. If we can try to, we have a large crowd here. If we can try our best to keep our answers brief, I won't try to interrupt anyone, but if it's going over 90 seconds, I might step in. So the question is, Montgomery County is by far one of the most diverse communities in the country. What do you believe is the single greatest challenge facing our county residents today, and what specific actions would you take to address it?
I'm happy to go first. Matt Losack, County Council at Large candidate. It's mattforcouncil.com. I believe affordable housing and stable quality housing is the most important issue facing the county. As I mentioned before, nearly 40% of the county lives in rental housing. Buying a house is out of reach of most middle and lower income folks. increasing numbers of our residents are living in rental housing, not as a station on the way to owning, but as a permanent way of life. And so we need to make sure that our rent stabilization laws are fair and balanced and strong, and not rolled back, as some of my colleagues who are friends but are intending to roll back that policy. We have to protect people from being evicted without a good reason. And we have to make sure that housing is of quality so that people can live stably and achieve the political, social, and economic participation in our society.
Thank you. Anybody else want to chime in? Anyone else? No, it is. I'm just so we can.
Okay, I'm going to go next. So affordability, as I mentioned in my SMART agenda, has always been an area of concern. We knew it with this new administration that things were going to be different. I knew that having a second term of this administration by a businessman does not add up for the residents down the line. There's no trickle-down effect. And so ensuring that we are attracting a strong economy by attracting businesses. We have a new Economic Development Corporation. There's a survey that's been put forth. In a few weeks, we will have a strategic plan to ensure that not only are we attracting businesses to not have to raise taxes, but we are passing legislation to accelerate how quickly we build homes, because we want our kids to be able to afford to live here. We want our kids to graduate and be able to buy homes here. And we want to ensure that we are not fighting and spending money in eviction court, but we're actually keeping people housed, attracting good jobs, and rebuilding a strong economy that Montgomery County is known for. Anyone who moves here because of our economy and our schools, and we want to make sure that continues to be a priority if I'm reelected. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Anybody else want to chime in on that question?
So as a realtor, I see every day the challenges of people trying to buy their first home or rent a property here in Montgomery County. I have an 18 and a 21-year-old, and I'm very concerned about their ability to build a life here in the community that they grew up in. That's why I've proposed a down payment assistance program based on what we've done in Gaithersburg, where we offer up to $40,000 towards closing costs in the form of a zero payment, zero interest loan that gets paid back when you either sell the property or you've refinanced your primary mortgage. So I proposed a $40 million down payment assistance fund where we could get 1,000 working families, so that's teachers, first responders, healthcare workers, longtime renters, so that they can begin to build generational wealth. And for every family that we get into their first home, then that frees up another rental unit for another family that's looking to move up. So that would be where I would start, but that's just one piece of the puzzle. I'm very proud that we also passed renter protections in Gaithersburg. While we don't have rent controls in Gaithersburg, we've actually seen year over year that the rents went down almost 2%, whereas in the county where we do have rent control, they went up about the historical average, about 2.1%. So we can protect our renters and make sure that we are still building housing. And I think we need basically an all of the above solution so that we can attack this problem and make sure that we're actually providing housing for the people that want to live here in Montgomery County.
I have been managing a property for 26 years. It's a working class property. It's a condominium, 214 units, 28 buildings, 55 nationalities, and we have no problems with people living cheek to jowl with each other. We get along well. In 2007, we were ramping up towards a housing collapse. As a community manager, I saw the settlement sheets coming in and saw that people were putting down $600 on a $250,000 condominium. And I immediately went to the Washington Post and got on the front page of the financial section because I saw what was coming and I warned people. And as a result, my community passed some bylaws that protected us from the collapse that was to come. Now we're in a similar situation. There are a number of people who own homes in condominiums who are undocumented. ICE will take them. They do not care. In my community, we are stepping up to the plate. Our board of directors is looking at assuming the power of attorney for those properties so that if the family is deported, we're going to rent that property, put the rent money in the bank, pay the mortgage, pay the condo fee, pay the property insurance, pay everything that it takes to keep it running and help them to hang on to their home so when they come back, when we are out of this fiasco, they will have something to come to. That is the type of out-of-the-box thinking that I do, and I will do for you on every single issue. Thank you.
Carla Silvestre for County Council at Large. So the question is, what is the single most important issue in Montgomery County, and what am I going to do about it? So I work at Montgomery College, and we have a refugee center there. Very few people, it's shrinking, because very few people are coming to Montgomery County because we can't find a place for them to live. It's too expensive. So our refugee center has gotten smaller and smaller because families can't be placed here. They're going to Prince George's County. So this county has become too expensive to live, to buy groceries, to pay for childcare. So we need to build more housing. We need to build more affordable housing. We have to bring good jobs. We came to this country to work and to do good jobs. Some of us are fleeing political persecution. So good jobs, workforce development, housing, all of those things are important so that we can continue to afford to live here.
I want to make sure these guys can see my pretty face.
Yes.
Our biggest problem is ensuring the prosperity and hope of young people. For the first time in American history, a 25-year-old today is not doing as well as their parents when they were 25, and that includes World War I, World War II, Great Depression, Civil War, 240 years of American history. Subsequent generations did better. About 10 years ago, that stopped in this country and in this county. What are we going to do about it? We need to give kids more opportunities. We need more jobs. On a Friday night, I know you want to hear statistics, so I got one for you. College graduate, graduating in 2025, starting salary was 8% lower than it was in 2024. So salaries for young people are going down. Housing, I don't have to tell you, costs of housing are going up. Cost of healthcare, increasing, if you can even get it. Young people need a more bright and hopeful future. And if we can't make that happen, young people are more susceptible to conspiracy theories and more easily manipulated. So we need kids to have a bright future, and it's up to us as adults who know better to make this happen.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. I came to this place as MCC, Dr. Asif Kadri, wonderful gentleman, and his wife. Great job you guys are doing. Thank you. Now, do you want to listen to me to tell the truth, or you want me to sugarcoat it?
Oh, okay.
You guys are confused. So I respect all the candidates, but I brought the receipts. So I have to call their action. So how can you have affordability when you keep on increasing taxes on the working class people? Mr. Mark Eldridge and Will Javando is increasing taxes. He proposed tax increase 10%. 2023, 2024. 2025, he wanted a tax increase. This year, he proposed a tax increase. County Council took my idea and did a progressive income tax. Now, I'm 7 years late. I should have run 7 years back. If they would have needed my idea, I could have given that to them. But after 7 years, you are doing a progressive income tax. You should have asked me. I'm an engineer. How can you have affordability if you keep on increasing taxes? How can you have affordable rent if the property tax keep on going high? Makes no sense. Now, I have a lawsuit against one person, Mark Losek. He took $173,000, IRS 990 form, approximately, where the county gave them $259,000. He is the main guy who is vouching for tenants instead of putting that money in his pocket. This is the person that are running for office. Enough of these corruptions. So what we need to do, we need somebody who is honest, who can stand up for you, and you can call out this corruption. Now, Ms. Massa is here. What happened under Mark Eldridge, Bethesda African Cemetery Coalition, and their Moses Cemetery been desecrated. And Mark Eldridge didn't do anything, County Council didn't do anything. And they're talking here, big things, sugarcoating.
Okay.
And also,
that's the
stop
90
the genocide in Palestine. I told this September 2025. Ms. Samira can say that. I am not saying that today because of votes, but they never step up, any of the county executive candidates in front of me. I was the only one who said, to Sister Samira is the witness, stop the genocide of the people being killed in Palestine.
Yeah. So great. That's actually going to be one of our questions that I'm going to put to actually all of the candidates. So what we're going to do is, because of one of the debate rules, or the form, it's not a debate, I'll clarify that, but one of the form rules is that in this,
it is now.
yeah, right, is that if one of the candidates are mentioned, we'll give them a response. So I'll give 30 seconds to Mr. Elrich and then 30 seconds to Mr. Lozak. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. So I'll give it to Mr. Lozak. Yeah, yeah.
Do I get two 30-second things because I got called out twice? Okay, first thing, Moses Cemetery. Moses Cemetery is next to the HOC building, and I've been working to try to get that memorialized. Where they're saying Moses Cemetery is not where it is. We know it's true. Thank you. The other part of this,
Hold on.
though.
I'm going to just pause for just a second. Sorry, and we'll
Yeah.
give you your time back. So yeah, I'm going to reset the groundwork. So I'm going to ask that everyone just take a second. Welcome to the Muslim Community Center of Silver Spring, Maryland. I just want to reset the groundwork. This is the place to be. That's our tagline, by the way. MCC, the place to be. Thank you, Hamza, for that. So this is a community forum, right? Though the process, and I know we started when the room wasn't as full, so I'm just going to take this opportunity to recount that. The way that we're going to do this is MCC does not take any official stance. We're not a partisan organization. This is an opportunity for us to ask the tough questions. And if you saw our flyer, we said that. Tough questions, hopefully honest answers, and an informed community. So the way we're going to do that, and again, if everyone could respect that for the sake of our community and the rules that we've set out, is that we have these question cards, and trust me, I was going to get to the Moses Cemetery question very soon because I have it written down here, so I'm glad you actually started talking on it. And then, you can also submit your questions here. We're not going to have any heckling. That's just going to be the ground rules that we're going to do. I respect everyone's opinions, and trust me, we're going to ask tough questions tonight, but just so that this conversation can go through in a cordial manner, we hope that everyone can agree and abide by those rules. So thank you very much. And MCC, I will have to say this for the record, right? We don't want to get to it, but to keep the decorum and this moving forward, right? MCC reserves the right to remove any person from today's event. We don't want to get there. So if we can just, now that I said it on the record, let's proceed with the conversation. So Mr. Elrich, the floor is
So
yours.
just a comment about taxes. Montgomery County, and you don't realize this probably, has the lowest taxes in the D.C. area except for Washington, D.C. Fairfax County is higher than ours on individuals and on corporate taxes. Frederick County's tax is $1.11. Howard County's tax is $1.33. Prince George's County's tax is $1.37. Montgomery County, $1.03. We are not able to build the things we need, and that's what this budget shows. We could not fit in the stuff we need. The council wind up cutting the schools and putting a $100 million hole in the budget for next year that we do not know how we're going to fill. That's a major problem. I've been proposing going to a system where we tax commercial property the way they do in Washington, where they do in Virginia. It puts a higher tax on commercial property, on residential property. It's given them hundreds of millions of dollars to build infrastructure that attracts businesses there.
It is time, Mr. Elrich. Thank you very much.
We can go on.
Yep, we can. And I'm going to give 30 seconds to Mr. Lozak.
Thank you. I just want to briefly respond to Mr. Banerjee, as he's not worth much more time than that. You all should know that he has filed hundreds of lawsuits against just about every organization in Montgomery County and beyond. He has been cited numerous times by the Department of Housing for being a slumlord and abusing his tenants. He's in bankruptcy. And frankly, I feel sorry for him. I don't think he's got all of his marbles upstairs. So with that,
Okay, we're going to try to avoid personal attacks.
well, okay, then he's got all of his marbles upstairs, but they're not round. Whatever they are, I think that one has to take a dim look at what he's saying and know that it's simply not true, and that I don't think he's fit for public office. Thank you.
Okay, so again, thank you. I appreciate it. We're gonna move on for the.
I have a rebuttal option
So-
because he
so-
called me slumlord and he called
So I'm
me-
going to address that. Just give me a second, please. Again, just like I addressed the
decency.
yes, just like I addressed the audience, I'm also going to address the candidates. That again, in the rules that we've outlined, right, in the original question that was being answered, we said that we would give candidates 30 seconds to respond if they're directly mentioned in the question. I think we've, oh, I need to speak into the mic. I apologize. So what we're going to do, again, for the sake of it, I'm just going to take this opportunity. And again, this is good. This is political. This is democracy at work, right? But we're going to keep it respectful, and we're going to avoid personal attacks, and we're going to keep moving along with the questions, okay? So the next question actually goes to a lot of the conversations we were having around housing affordability and tax burdens, right? So I want to ask a very pointed question that was received here. If you're elected, how will you firstly reduce the tax burden on Montgomery County residents, and what steps are you going to take to increase availability and options for affordable housing in Montgomery County? So who would like to start us off? Yes. Yes.
I was going to say start from the opposite side.
Okay. So I think earlier we started on that side. So. Yeah.
They never answered that question.
I got so frazzled. We didn't even finish that last question. There we go. So who didn't answer that last question? Okay. The first question. That was the pressing issue of Montgomery County residents. And then just for the who else didn't answer that question?
When we came to this country, we have an American dream. We have good schools, we have affordable prices, affordable housing, and we have a lot of jobs. But now everything changed. So what's going on? Our governor and our policymakers should think about this. How to make America dream back to us. So if I was elected to the Board of Education, I will make sure our school system will go back to the old times. We have traditional education. And this is the best I can do for you. Thank you.
Okay. So who else didn't answer that first question, just so I can get a show of hands? Okay. Alrighty. So I'll go to Hamza or
Kristen first.
Kristen.
Yes,
Okay.
right.
Hi, everybody. Kristen Mink, your current county council member running for re-election in District 5. So right now we are facing an onslaught from a federal government that is completely out of control and harming our communities in so many ways. So terrorizing our immigrant community, for one, but also we've got federal employees who are losing their jobs, who expected that they would have stable incomes for decades. Some are two members of the household have lost jobs. It's impacting how much we bring in terms of revenue. That's expected to continue. So it's impacting in a lot of different ways. We've lost federal funding for things that had been on the federal dollar before and has now been pulled away, and now it's on the state or the county to somehow find money to pay for those things. And we are seeing that hitting in a lot of different ways. Our nonprofit community is not getting the level of funding that they need to keep up with inflation and costs, et cetera. We have people who are struggling to keep a roof over their own heads, to pay their mortgage, to pay their rent, to pay their utilities. We're seeing $36 million in cuts from our school system. That was very close to being a 72, the cuts were almost twice as big, I will say. Myself, Councilmember Will Jawando, who I have endorsed, he's running for county executive, and Lorianne Sales, we held the line to prevent that MCPS cut from being twice as big, almost 800 positions from MCPS as it ended up being. So that means that's a battle that we're fighting on many fronts, and I'm going to get into the details as we move forward with the questions, but we need to deal with affordability. We need to deal with our tax base and the way that we're able to cover our budget as a whole. We need to push back against immigration enforcement. So I look forward to getting into details on all of those in the questions moving forward.
Thank you.
So affordability is a nice buzzword, but I live in the real world of having to actually manage the county government. And I'll go back to what I was saying before. And you all should appreciate this. We do a lot of services in this county. If we had cut taxes, the services we provide would have been cut. If the federal government cuts the money that's available for homelessness, they have one program they're talking about cutting, it's a $7.5 million cut. If we can't back that up, 500 families will be homeless in about a month. That's how quickly this is going to happen. So I looked at this budget and I said, what is Montgomery County about? We serve people. We've been taking care of this community. We take care of the least among us. That's our job. And if we're going to elevate taxes over everything else we do, I don't think that's consistent with your values. You don't put taxes first. You ask yourself, what am I doing to make my community better? How do I work to shore up the community and provide services to people and make sure everybody is healthy and taken care of? I made a hard decision, but I stand by decision. But I'll say what I was talking about before. If we don't change the tax structure here, we will either shrink government or we'll make a decision to tax the commercial sector the way they do in Virginia and Washington.
Thank you. Ms. Fatima Taberi?
Fatma Taberi, Assalamu alaikum. Okay, so I know we all say affordability, right? But I think when we say affordability, we always miss some of the most important part. It's not just some of us up here who may be having some difficulties right now. It's also the people who live where I live, in White Oak. People who are doing shift work, who are making hourly wages, who are doing several shifts in a day, right? Just to make ends meet. Not to go on vacation, but to make ends meet, just to live. Did you know that it requires over $126,000 for a young family to live here in Montgomery County? $126,000. Who makes that, right? Most of us don't. And in order for us to fix some of those, which impact, of course, the housing, which impacts your transit, if you have to leave here to go to work in Bethesda, it takes you over an hour and a half one way, which, come on. By the time you get to work, you're tired. By the time you get to the job, and if you're a child, you get called because your kid, you have to come get them to school, you can't get there in time. So get us better jobs, get us businesses that come in here and pay people what they're worth, and ensuring that in the process of that, you also get better housing. When we say affordable, we mean truly affordable housing. Having housing being built by nonprofit and mission-driven builders like MHP that build homes, that convert homes to homes that people can afford, and they're aesthetically beautiful and they're safe. So that's some of the things that we think we can do to make sure that people's economic stability is better in this county, and ensuring that as moving forward, we plan ahead. Like in any home, you plan ahead. You don't wait until the 3-month line to say, let's figure out what we're going to spend the money on. What we do is we figure out from day one how much money we have, where is it going to go, and where can we get the money to make up what we may be missing later.
Thank you very much. And I think our final candidate on this question is going to be Mr. Hamza, unless I missed anyone. Okay.
Speak now.
There we go.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. It's good to see you all. I'm sorry for being late. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Hamza Khan. I have a young brother who's autistic and a sister with Down syndrome. I was waiting for someone to relieve me so I could come here and taking care of them. They both say salam. They went to Sunday school here with me back in the 90s. So it's a pleasure to be back at the place to be, MCC. There's not one issue that is my number one issue. All the issues matter to me. I know that's just a throwaway phrase, but to give you an idea, I've been a member of the Bethesda African Cemetery Coalition since its inception many years ago, and I've been standing with them in their struggle to get dignity for black bodies, because as Muslims, as all of you know, I'm named for Hazrat Hamza. My namesake was mutilated, and that bothers me. We take it seriously as a faith that those who are buried must be given full dignity. And that's why we stand with the ACC as a family. That being said, we have issues dealing from affordability to the $125 million cut against disability services done by the governor at the behest of his group home donors, to issues with transportation, to issues with police, public safety. We've had 3 school shootings since January. I met a young man who's Afghan and a refugee. He said to me, Hamza bhai, I was shot leaving Jalalabad 9 months ago by the Taliban. I came to Blake High School, and then there was a shooting in my parking lot. You're telling me that Rockville is more dangerous than Afghanistan now? These are actual situations that we're dealing with on a daily basis. We talk about all the catchphrase issues. Affordability is at the top of my list. My parents are retired. They are on a fixed income. I had to give up both a marriage and a home to move back in to help care for my brother and sister the last decade of my life. It is the greatest honor, and I would never change anything, because they're going to Jannah. I'm trying to catch up with them. That being said, we are a county in decline, and that decline is because of mismanagement. I'm not going to blame anyone. I respect everyone on the stage here, even if we disagree on the issues. That mismanagement must be reversed by a new generation of leaders. I am the second youngest person on the ballot. The youngest person is a fellow Pashtun and a Muslim, Arif Wali, who's on his way here after caring for his 9 siblings, 2 of whom have full scholarships to college and medical school, living in a 4-bedroom house in White Oak. 9 siblings and 2 parents, mashallah. Our community knows what it means to work hard and to make things work. My parents came here, they lost their visas, they got amnesty in their green cards, they worked their whole lives in fear of what was then INS and now ICE, have 2 special needs children, raised me, put me through college, and they're still here on a fixed income for the rest of their lives, inshallah. How do we make this work unless we have new ideas, innovative ideas? At the top of my agenda, how do we get innovation? I don't have all the answers. Okay, I'm out of breath. I'm not standing because I'm out of breath. I've been up since Fajr Salah, trying to catch up with everything that needs to get done to run a campaign. Thank you to all of you in the room who are on our campaign team, Uncle Habib, Uncle Saber,
Thank you,
Scott,
Hamza.
thank you so much. It's a lot of work. I'm just here because I care about the county,
Okay.
not for anything else.
Awesome.
Jazakallah.
Thank you so much. So we're going to move to, okay, so because we have a full stage and lots to get to. So I appreciate some of you have already directed your questions at specific candidates. So we're going to go back to that original question about tax burden. And what I'll do is, if I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, want to chime in on that one. And I'll try to keep speaking into the mic so everyone can hear me, especially those at home. So we'll try to keep those questions brief, and then I'll do a round of specific questions that were directed at some of you in specific, and then some I will tie it to the offices that you're running for, especially the Board of Education and so on. So the first question, going back to the original, is, and then again, my job here is to kind of like combine some of the same themes, but the recurring theme that I keep seeing is the tax burden is a lot on Montgomery County residents, and it's forcing families to make tough decisions when it comes to their income and their paychecks. Rent costs are through the roof in Montgomery County, but that also affects what we're calling either housing affordability or housing access, however we want to frame it. And so I think the community wants to get a sense of, when it comes to these matters of affordability and keeping that hard-earned money in their pocket, where do you stand? And how are you looking to get Montgomery County residents tax relief and higher paychecks for the work that they're doing? So who would want to start us off, and then we'll do a round robin.
Hi, everybody. Again, Matt Losack, County Council at Large. I think that we've done a lot of disservice to all of us as citizens when we talk about taxes as an evil. Here in the United States, we always look at taxes as, well, we don't like them. We don't have to pay extra money. But we also have to think about, where does our tax dollars go? We pay for services. We pay for government. We pay for our public schools. We pay for our police and our fire. We pay for investment in health and safety. So, you know, being anti-tax is not a good idea. What we need to be is focused on where our tax dollars are going. Is our government effective and efficient? That's what we should be looking at. Are tax dollars being used appropriately? That's where we should look and spend our time. If we're saying that we don't want to pay taxes, then as Mr. Elrich has pointed out, what are we going to cut? We live in a county where we have strong services that are very, very important. I work every day with the Health and Human Services Department and the Department of Housing and Community Affairs, and I see what they are doing for people. That costs money. And we have to start thinking about, do we want to cut our taxes and end this so that only a handful of people can profit extensively, like those who are supported and endorsed by the landlord, developer, and real estate lobby? Or do we want to look at those things that support all of us as a community? I am not one who is anti-tax. As a renter for more than 20 years, I see my household expenses go up with rent increases every single year.
Thank you very much.
So for me, it's about a balance.
We're going to go to the next candidate.
Yes. So we're talking about taxes and what we would do differently for our taxes to, well, I thought we had answered this before, but in order to make things more affordable, we have to increase supply so we can decrease demand. That's not just with our housing supply, that's with our jobs, that's with the businesses who are hiring, how much they're paying. I passed the Jobs Act that provided over $20 million to ensure that we could not just attract high-paying jobs, but also support our entrepreneurs. I know we have a lot in this community. We also need startup funds for our innovators who are, you know, helping us accelerate our communities. So we've gotten money out the door to ensure that our economy is working for us. We cannot be the wealthiest county in the state of Maryland, taking care of the rest of the state of Maryland. Every dollar that we send to Maryland, Montgomery County gets about 10 to 20 cents back on the dollar. We are trying to ensure we have the best schools, have the best educators here, and we are also trying to ensure that we keep our communities safe. So while we are trying to do more with less, we are still trying to ensure that our nonprofits, our faith communities are safe. We're trying to do everything we can to fight against ICE, to ensure that no one's going to bed hungry, to ensure that our students, our youngest learners, have access to mental health services.
Thank you very much.
Once we get back in the majority, we will leverage the power of the people, and we just need to ensure that we are prepared for the next few years. We
Awesome.
cannot keep thinking in the scarcity mentality. We need to start planning for the
Thank you
future.
very much. We're going to move to the
Sorry.
next
Thank you.
candidate. Sorry, I'm just going to keep us on time so we can get to all the topics. Thank you. And it's not personal. Thank you.
Tax and affordability?
Yep. So it's, again, broad. I'm grouping a lot of questions, but the main concern is high taxes, not enough money in our paychecks, but also it comes down to housing affordability and access. What are you going to do? What's your plan when it comes to affordability? Absolutely. And then again, great point, Tanya. Folks want to know what is your specific plan to address that issue. So being as specific as possible.
So I guess I said it a little bit earlier. Part of what I want to see happen is the county working closer with nonprofit builders and mission-driven builders, because their focus is not necessarily just to make a lot of money. Their focus is to provide proper housing and resources. And to bring in businesses that can hire people and pay them what they deserve. Providing incentives for small businesses in this county. As we all know and have said many times before, small businesses are the backbone of this county. Over 80% or more of businesses in this county are small businesses, and they're the ones that hire. And if they hire, then you need to maintain them. Make the process of coming into the county a lot less difficult, better streamlined. I am one of those who believes in streamlining and making things a little more accessible and transparent. When I was executive director for the county's Police Accountability Board, when I came into the county, into the position, we didn't have a structure of making sure that when complaints are filed against police officers and investigation is completed, that the information can be transmitted to the Administrative Charging Committee. I, along with the county's IT department, created a system where you have one centralized location where every police department in the county feeds the reports, including body-worn camera, into that system, and the charging committee can go into that. And we were able to take away the responsibility of each department to come out to Rockville, no matter where they're from, to bring the information.
Thank you, Ms. Berry. Appreciate it.
I'm going to stand because I've been sitting too long.
You got to clap for standing.
So it's too difficult to get through the permitting process in Montgomery County. So if you want to start a business, if you want to open a yoga studio, I've heard it's taken 9 months, 12 months, 4 years to open a business. When you sign a lease, but you still can't open, you're still making that payment, yet you're not getting income in. We need to have a culture shift. Our budget since the last 8 years has gone up 44%, yet most of our wages are relatively flat. So we continue to squeeze the middle class with these tax increases. The only way to do that without tax increases is to grow our tax base. That means making it more welcoming to build your business here instead of Virginia, instead of North Carolina, right? So we do need to support our small businesses, but we need to welcome big businesses. I worked for Discovery, as you heard earlier. They left. We knew they were going to leave. We didn't have anybody waiting in the wings. We still don't have a major headquarters there, and Silver Spring has struggled because of that. We have big swing projects in Gaithersburg. We have just completed the demolition on the Lake Forest Mall, and that new development's going to be moving forward with at least 1,600 new housing units, with new jobs, We have here in Viva White Oak, I think, a great example of what needs to happen at White Flint, using tax increment financing to be able to do these big swings and attract new investment, new job opportunities, new housing. But we need this culture shift. Instead of saying no all the time, how do we get to yes? What does success look like? And partnering with the people that want to invest in Montgomery County, because we want them here, because we all succeed when we work together.
Thank you, Mr. McNulty.
So I founded a business when I first came to Washington, D.C. after working in a not-for-profit sector. The business was focused on helping women and people of color get into the third largest industry in Washington, D.C., which is the trade associations and professional societies who are here to lobby. And those jobs don't necessarily require a degree in administrative, and because most of those are administrative positions. So I developed a CETA program, brought the young people from the neighborhoods to downtown DC, where most of them had never been, taught them about doing business in trade associations and professional societies, and many of them now have careers in those fields. But I ran a business, a successful business, and I have looked at the issue and had to take care of paying overhead. How many of you know what you have to pay overhead in your businesses, and you have to pay overhead at home? I want to talk a little bit about overhead at home if you are at the bottom end of the wage scale, which is what people in condominiums are. And I keep going back to that because what we have to do is we have to look at the issue of equity. If you buy a building, if you get a building permit for 1,000 square feet renovation in a condominium, you pay $2,800 for that building permit. For a $250,000 condominium. For a $2.5 million home, you pay $1,570. There's something wrong with this picture. This particular county is upside down, and it is time to stand up for people who are the most vulnerable and look closely at creating equity for everybody in this community, not just the people at the top. And that is what I intend to do. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm also going to stand up. I'm a very direct person, so I don't think I need 90 seconds?
It was about 45 seconds.
Okay. So the question is about the tax burden and affordability. So the county council just passed a progressive tax. I think we should all give them a round of applause because that means that the people that make the least amount of money pay less taxes, and the people with the most amount of money pay more taxes. That's a big deal, because if we are saying that we're tax burdened, this just helped people that don't make as much money in Montgomery County. So that's a great solution. But also, I know the value of my home has increased, and with it, the taxes that I pay on my home. And that's what I hear a lot, especially from our seniors, that they can't afford that tax anymore because the value is going up and their income is fixed. So we have a problem if we're not building enough housing. That's only going to make the cost of our existing house, the property values go up and up and up and up.
Thank you very much. All right.
So if we don't have more people paying taxes, we're going to have the same amount of people paying more taxes, right? That's a pretty simple way to put it, but that's what we're looking at. And I agree with pretty much everyone up here. Montgomery County is not a place where we're trying to get down to zero. We provide a lot of good services. We have a very good social safety net. The residents of our county expect the government to provide a lot. That being said, our county and our community is a team. So on the council, there are people that focus on healthcare. There are people that focus on parks. There are people that focus on libraries. If honored enough to be your council member, I would want to focus on economic growth. I started a company when I was 24 years old with a laptop and a dream, and today it employs 29 people. So a pretty good success story in my humble opinion. That is the expertise that I would bring to this community. But we don't need original ideas, or at least I don't. Mayor Mamdani in New York had proposed a commission on government efficiency. So some people had asked what specific things you would do. over time, a lot of regulations have been passed. Some of
We
them
are
are
over
rel-
time, so I'm gonna, sorry, just jump in there.
Overtime.
Sorry about that. That was, you gave me a good
Yeah,
segue into it.
Can Carla and I trade time? you?
Maybe down the line, okay.
Thank you.
Say that
I
again.
try to be as quick as I can. I'm not going to name anybody so that
have
they
a
get
public
30 seconds. So I'm going to say, I asked, somebody took 173,000 from 259,000 of our taxpayers' money. I just got name called. They didn't answer why they took that much money, giving that to the tenants for their rent. And somebody started with Moses Cemetery, then backtrack and talk something different when they got called liar. We have to understand that why. So, and people told me about my bankruptcy. During COVID, we couldn't able to get rent. We got $100,000 on negative, and we have our mortgages to pay. So we didn't want to increase the rent for our future tenants. So I filed bankruptcy to restructure my loan. It's not illegal. It's not a crime. And I got assaulted in 2018 in my own house by Montgomery County Police. And the police said if I file a lawsuit, they will get court enforcement with me. That's why they filed 42 false municipal infraction, which is in appeal in the circuit court, and I'm filing a $16.8 million lawsuits against the county and the county executive in federal court. So what we need to do, we need to hold the government accountable. The current county executive making $232,000 approximately. When I get elected with your support, I will not take more than $120,000 and pay that money to MCP's budget. There are hundreds of people getting $250,000 to $300,000. The governor makes $184,000. Lieutenant governor making $165,000, where county council members are making $167,000. So that's where our money is going. There are 50,000 checks going to ghost accounts worth $320 million. We need to ask, where is the money going? Stop the fraud and abuse. And, they paid almost $50,000 MIDC, which is also doing the killing of Palestine as per the CLARE. You know CLARE, right? I'm not saying that. And county council voted unanimously, county executive put that. After this year, after being criticized by me, now they removed that fund.
And that's time.
Thank you.
so much.
So choose your vote, whom to vote.
Okay,
I'm going to tell the truth.
thank you. Yep, go ahead. And then I think we have about,
In order for us to receive enough tax, we have to boost our economy. In order to boost our economy, we have to reduce the interest rate. Currently, the interest rate is too high. It's like 6.5. I think that's too high. Recently, we have a new leader for the Federal Reserve. He probably want to further increase the interest rate to like maybe 10. And I'm going to write a letter to him, tell him, wake up. People are suffering. Our small businesses are suffering. You cannot further increase the interest rate. You have to lower it, right? So if the interest rate lower, then the price, the food price will go down, and small business will have more money to come in, have more, they can get loan easy. Currently, it's very difficult to get a loan and difficult to get a mortgage. People difficult to buy a house. So all the problem is the interest rate. I'm going to write a letter to him tonight to solve the problem. Thank you.
thank you. Very succinct. And then, Hamza?
Dealing with affordability and taxes in this county is a battle that's gone back since before I was born. One of the challenges that we have is, yes, we do have a lower tax threshold than other places at $1.03, as the county executive said earlier, but we also have higher assessments on our homes. We also have a far less useful infrastructure grid, and we have a lot of problems on county roads, you might have noticed. County roads have a lot of potholes on them. There's a long conversation we can have about that. And in terms of affordability for people living in the county, aside from these assessments, 47% of the people who live in this county are renters. That does mean that a majority is technically owners, but we have a very high number of renters. Many of those people chose to rent in this county because they were told that we had one of the best school systems in the country. Whether that will remain the case when you have 3 school shootings in 1 year is not exactly clear to me. It's an inshallah question. That being said, what I propose is that we do a lot of what we've already heard up here. One, we need performance audits into the county government to figure out whether or not it's doing its job effectively. Two, we have to look at MCPS and actually do a proper audit of them, because I'm very sure that they would not pass an audit as they are currently being funded and structured. And three, in terms of making it easier for small businesses to succeed here, you're right. The permitting process is very broken. I started my first business when I was 21 years old. I wasn't as successful as Scott. I only had 16 employees full-time. That being said, and they were all here in the state, that being said, if we're going to be serious about growing our economy, we have to work on our reputation as a county. We are known as being incredibly anti-small business. We have a difficult permitting process. It might be easier to go on Hajj at this point than open a business in Montgomery County. And Radwan is just back on Hajj, which is why he's not here. I hope he's doing well. Give him our salams. And he prayed for all of us. I'm glad to hear that.
And that is
And I'll leave it on that. Thank you.
Alrighty, I think we're going to go Mr. Elbridge and then down the row here. And then I think everyone else answered this question, right?
So look, keeping repeating the word affordability about taxes is a dodge, because the question is what taxes and who pays them. And what I'm suggesting is that there's a model around us. People keep talking about going to Virginia. They're going to Virginia to pay higher taxes. Why are they going to Virginia to pay higher taxes? Virginia took that money and it had to be dedicated to transportation infrastructure. The transportation infrastructure drove the economy in Tyson's Corner. The Republican governor, when they passed this in 2013, predicted exactly what would happen in Tyson's Corner. I've been asking us to do the same thing, because then it doesn't become a question of, is it affordable for me to raise taxes? I'm putting the raise on taxes on the people who can best afford it and taking the load. That's why DC property taxes can be 85 cents, because commercial property is paying $1.89. There's a big difference between those things. And if we don't do that, we simply aren't going to be able to fund something. Somebody mentioned the lack of transit. We don't have transit because we can't float bonds because we don't have enough money in the budget to float bonds. We've got to stop pretending that there's some magical thinking that's going to make this problem go away. You've got to make a hard decision. You've got to be willing to tax the special interests, which are pouring money into this campaign to certain candidates. You should find out who's getting that money. But you should be worried about that, because if they get their way, they'll continue to get reductions in taxes rather than increases in taxes, and then we'll be faced with either increasing your taxes or reducing the number of things we do. I know you're going to stop me, so I'll do it nicely.
Right on. Yep, in about 10 minutes, yeah. So, go ahead, Councilmember Mink.
Okay. Hi, Kristen Mink. First, I want to say that I voted against the tax plan that the County Council just passed. The reason for that is we're calling it progressive, but it's not progressive in the way that I think that it needs to be. It removed what's called the ITOC, which is a tax credit that homeowners get off their property tax. It's about $700, $692. And then on the income side, there is progressivity there, but it's a progressivity that we can't afford. There's a reduction at lower income levels, and then there's an increase at upper income levels. The problem is, which is of course what you want, ideally, right? That's how it should be. The problem is, the reason we were able to do this right now is because the state has to allow it. And they just gave us the authority, just a couple years ago, but this was when we were able to implement. They just gave us the authority to be able to lift that cap a little bit, which allowed for us to introduce that progressivity. So we have increased the taxes for the highest incomes, but we have a graduated tax rate in Montgomery County, which means that even a millionaire, their first $150,000, right, that gets a decrease, right? It's the income that comes in. It's not like all of your income is at one level. And so this is an expensive proposition for the county, and it got paid for. What my colleagues, not all of my colleagues, I voted against it. Councilmember Lorian Sales voted against it, and I'll say all 3 county executive candidates voted against it.
Awesome.
It's cutting that property tax. So we need to find savings. We need to be able to tax the rich.
Thank you very much.
And the state is on cue to give us more tools in the coming session, and we're going to need to get that
Awesome.
passed. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Where am I going?
And then, Judge, do you want to answer that question? Okay. I figured, but I thought I'd ask. Okay, so perfect. So what we have, just a breakdown, we have about less than 6 minutes, or sorry, actually about 8 minutes before we have to break for evening prayers. And so what we're going to do is, there's a lot of questions. And as you guys know, this event is scheduled until 9:30. So if that's okay, I'm going to ask two candidates very direct questions that came in. So thank you for those direct questions. We'll break for prayer, and then we'll reconvene. And then, candidates can mingle with some of the community members in between. So this question is actually directed towards candidate Lori Ann Sales. So the question is, how will you attract and retain businesses while maintaining the county's quality of life and environmental standards? If we can get a brief response, and then we'll try to get to the next.
Thank you. As the only candidate on the Economic Development Committee, I attend the Economic Development Corporation meetings very regularly. It's about marketing. It's about offering a competitive environment so that businesses can thrive. It's about offering incentives like the Move Grant. If you want to move to Montgomery County or move to expand your footprint, we're going to help you do that. We want to be partners with anyone who wants to move here, who wants to raise their family here, and who wants to help grow our economy. It takes a partnership. We also have the incentives to ensure that our jobs are attractive, from six-figure jobs to people who want to start businesses. We are the third largest biotech corridor in the country. And so that's what we're focused on. That's why the University of Maryland is partnering with us, because we know that AI is upon us. And we are staying ahead of the curve to ensure that we are educating our students and providing the base of where this technology will be created. So we are at a great place. Let no one fool you about Montgomery County and how strong we are and how effective we are going to be. Be on the lookout in the fall. We're going to get the first draft of the strategic plan. That's our economic blueprint for how we are going to revitalize this economy. And we have some incredible thought leaders on this committee. The gentleman who is leading Economic Development Corporation from Vegas with roots in Louisiana, thriving economies. And we also have the leadership of the universities at Shady Grove, the president who oversees all the universities in this state. So let no one fool you that Montgomery County is going to do well. And we're going to need everyone tuned in when we release that strategic vision for how we're going to make sure that that plan that's proposed works in this county.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So the last direct question is going to go to Mr. Elrich, actually, and then we'll break for prayer. So this question is about a topic that's been in the news for a while, and I think our community would benefit from a bit of understanding. And it was, again, directed towards you in your capacity as a county executive, but it's about the Moses Cemetery. And I'm just going to read the question directly because some of our community members may not be aware of it. But the Moses Cemetery, which is in Bethesda, is being desecrated by Montgomery County and the developer 1784. And so there's a lot of community members who express concerns about how this issue was dealt with. And so they want to know, are you going to denounce the desecration of this burial grounds, and how issues like this affect cohesion and social cohesion in our communities, especially with government?
I can't do this in a minute. I'll be honest with you. This is what I can tell you. Moses Cemetery was moved from Washington, D.C. to where it is off of River Road in about 1912. And that cemetery is next to what is now an HOC building. Mm-hmm. And I've been willing from the beginning to do something to memorialize the cemetery there because it's already underneath a gravel parking lot. It was probably completely desecrated when they built the original building, which was actually an office building, before they turned it into housing. But I can't undo what they did over there. What we can do is make sure there's a memorialization of it, and I support it. The argument now morphed from an argument about where the cemetery was to a claim that the cemetery is underneath the self-storage building. The self-storage building was occupied by other buildings from most of the 20th century. It is not the site of Macedonia Cemetery. The cemetery was moved, like I said, was moved from DC. It is a factual thing. You can see when it was moved, and you can see where it is.
Okay. Thank you very much. And again, we want to make it very clear that our goal here today was to ask tough questions. I know a lot of these conversations, and there's a lot more tough questions to come after the prayer break. So what we're going to do is we're going to break for prayer, if that's okay, and then we'll reconvene after prayer, and there's a lot more topics, and I hope candidates can avail themselves for about 40 more minutes of questioning after prayer.
all the candidates up here.
All righty.
And also about the candidates who are here.
Yes. So yes, anybody who's joining us who's not going to be taking part of the prayer service, you can interact with the candidates. There's they have tables. We also have an awesome food truck. Talk about supporting small businesses. Addie's Barbecue's outside. So I would suggest folks get some great food, and we'll try to reconvene at about 8:50 if we can. I might overpromise that. That's 15 minutes. Okay. So we're going to reconvene at 8:50. I hope I got your question as noted.
Very well.
Okay.
I think.
Thank you.
Usually Mark has me arrested, so I was very prepared to get arrested.
Okay. Well, hopefully we won't get there. But thank you for your coming and thank you for the questions. Yeah. Oh yeah, I've noticed, and trust me, yeah, I think I learned it that myself. in the past, you visited the mosque regarding some comments that were made in the media that generated some very some serious concerns from community members, right? And it was particularly regarding some of the opt-out issue in the public schools. But I know other community members noted here even your vote and comments on the proposed Maryland Israeli Development Center and so on. And so folks want you to kind of address why the Muslim community here should support you particularly when it comes to comments that you've made in the past that have deeply hurt folks and the stances that you've taken when it comes to voting in favor of initiatives such as the MIDC, the Maryland Israeli Development Center.
First, I want to say that I did not vote in favor of the MIDC. I voted in favor of the budget as a whole because we had to pass a budget. Had there been a vote on the MIDC, I would have voted against that. I would have voted to remove that. We did not have the votes to remove it from the budget in the previous year, but I appreciate in the previous budget cycle. But I appreciate that the county executive removed it from the budget. And had he not, then I would have been glad to vote to remove that from the budget. I think that was the appropriate thing to do, and I'm sorry that it didn't happen before, but I'm glad that it's done now. On my comments previously, I will say that I think those were misinterpreted at the time, but what I will say is that what came from that is some many conversations within the Muslim community at MCC, with ISWA, really up and down District 5 and across the county, that I so deeply appreciate. I really appreciated that, although that there was hurt that my comments caused, and again unintentionally, I think that they were skewed by the media, but it's impact that matters, right? Not intent. And so I was so appreciative to be welcomed in by leaders of the Muslim community for some really intense conversations, and the relationships that have come from that I so deeply appreciate, because we've been able to work together on many issues that impact both the Muslim community and the community much broader. That is, in fact, bringing a lot of good to the community as a whole. We've worked together to pass bills that are adding protections for community members around housing, around our renters. You all supported a bill that I led on that now allows the county to sue slumlords on behalf of the tenants. So thank you.
Thank you. Sorry. And again, I have no podium, so I'm going to just use me stepping onto the stage as a time indicator to keep this going. So we appreciate that clarification. Okay, so the next one is a broader question, but again, I would appreciate succinct answers. And so I thought this one kind of frames it in a good segue. It starts off referencing the saying, think globally but act locally, right? And there's a lot of concern about what has been happening globally, particularly issues when it comes to, the genocide in Gaza and the war in Iran and Lebanon and so on and so forth. And so members of the community want to know, what are your stances when it comes to these, particularly, and I have to be very honest, right? The genocide in Gaza has come up a lot, right? And some of it has been a direct question. Do you believe there's a genocide in Gaza? And what are you doing at the local level to help address these issues that many of our community members are faced with at a personal level, but also feel very deeply about, especially when some of our tax dollars are going to, we talked about the MIDC, for instance, police training with the IDF and things that folks have called out. And so we want to get on the record very clearly when it comes to a lot of the candidates. If we could do a lightning round, that would be great. But the genocide in Gaza. Do you consider it a genocide, and what are the issues when it comes to foreign policy at the local level, and how to ensure that social cohesion in our community? So I guess we'll try to.
I love these softball questions that you guys ask us here at MCC. Yes, I'm trained in transitional justice at Georgetown. I have a master's degree in democracy and governance from Georgetown. And I enrolled in that program 4 years ago after working in county and state politics and federal politics for about 20 years of my life. I know I'm young, but the first campaign I worked on was at 16. And I was so disturbed by what I saw as lack of transparency, due process, and soft corruption here in the county that I felt that if I was going to play a positive role, I had to have an education. In that class, in that graduate course on transitional justice, we studied literally what you do after a genocide and how you define a genocide. Under the Rome Statute, which is the law that generally governs what a genocide is globally, there is no question in my mind that what the Netanyahu regime is doing in Gaza is a genocide. It is a slow-moving genocide, but it is a genocide. What the Netanyahu regime is allowing to happen in the West Bank is very much in line with attempted genocide. What we are seeing across the Middle East today with efforts by the Netanyahu regime to destabilize Syria and Lebanon are in line with trying to carry out other genocides. Unfortunately, I say this with a lot of care. There is a difference between being critical of Israel and being anti-Semitic. And what angers me more than anything else, as somebody who was president of a Jewish fraternity for 2 years in college, is the level to which anti-Semitism has been combined with anti-Israel criticism. And we have to separate those two right now. This community has always stood with the Jewish community. The Jewish community has always stood with us since 9/11. We are not going to turn our back on anyone who is Jewish. That's not who we are as Muslims. That's why the Tomb of the Patriarchs is still safe after all these years under Muslim protection in the Holy Land.
Okay. And I want to give everyone an opportunity to respond to it. Again, we're going to try to be very brief and succinct so we can get a lightning round of everyone.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Prabhu Selvam. I'm also a candidate for Montgomery County Council at Large. I'm an emergency room physician, and I'm a humanitarian aid worker. I work for a nonprofit organization, and we work all over the world, including in Gaza. Over the last 2 years, I've been working on teams that send medications and medical supplies to clinics, especially for maternal and child care in Gaza and surrounding areas that are affected in the Middle East, including Yemen and also in Lebanon. And I'm regularly on discussions with colleagues based in Palestine. And so I understand the reality on the ground of the torture that families are going through, the genocide that is happening with so many tens of thousands of women and children killed. That's not a casualty of war. That is the intent of the actions that have been happening in Gaza. And I agree with Hamza in that our Jewish brothers and sisters deserve our protection just the same. The reason I say this about what's happening in Gaza bluntly is because a threat to human rights and families' livelihoods and value of life anywhere is a threat to all of our lives. And that's why I'm standing up for the genocide that's happening in Gaza, because of the protection that we need for all of our communities globally, including the Jewish community.
Thank you very much.
My name is Sharon Creed. I'm running for the school board. I think every life should be respected, and every human has a right to survive in Gaza. That's why I will pray for the peace, and maybe United Nations could help Palestine. Thank you.
Thank you. I've been attending this 50 of them county executive forum. I used to stand, so I'm going to address you all. So this is not today. I'm calling this as a genocide. On September 19, 2025, our sister Samira was there in a Latino Democratic Club. I was the only candidate, county executive running, called that is a genocide in Palestine. We need to stop that. And United Nations has already called that as a genocide. So if the international body has already called that, if we respect United Nations, there is no disagreement about that. And also, I say that MIDC funds, if you're voting for a budget, the whole county council member voted for the budget, and county executive presented that in the budget for this year not, but so many years before that. That happened. And there are some arms organizations that had been funded with those taxpayers' money that came from our pocket, taken life in Palestine and Gaza. So I as a county executive, I will not use taxpayers' money to kill anybody. I can promise you that. I'm a practicing Hindu, but I respect everybody. Our brothers and sisters from Muslim as well as Jewish community. I want to eradicate hate. We need to have love and peace. Thank you.
Perfect. So I'm going to be a little bit more strict with that 30 seconds so we can get through everyone. Go ahead.
Much like I disagree with many of the policies of the Trump administration, I disagree with a lot of the policies of the current Israeli government. Many of the things they're doing are completely antithetical to short, medium, and long-term peace in that region. And I just think all war is bad, and it's a kind of a global failure that we allow these things to continue.
Thank you for the question. As I shared with you when I started, I am from Guatemala, and my family fled persecution while the indigenous people of Guatemala were being killed by our government. And the term genocide had at times been used in the context of Guatemala. So I really empathize with communities that are being persecuted, because my community in Guatemala suffered thousands and thousands of deaths. And I want to make sure that everyone here in Montgomery County is safe, everyone here is valued, that our children go to school and are not discriminated, there's no bias. So I will do everything I can in my power to make sure that we have a unified community where we're all respected and for the prosperity of all of us.
As I'm Vicky Vergani. As I mentioned previously, I have 55 nationalities in my community with 214 homes. We have people from all over the world. In the Middle East, we have several countries from the Middle East, and we do not have conflicts. And you're talking about thinking globally, acting locally. When you set a tone in a community where the children tell the children coming from across the street, we don't fight here. You know you've made progress. And we set a tone in the community so that people know that everyone is not tolerated, they are valued. There is a huge difference. And so that is what we work for every day out of my community.
So the very first client that I had as a realtor was a Palestinian family who was coming to the U.S. on an H-1B visa from the West Bank and trying to find an apartment to rent for their family. And unfortunately, after we found them a place, their place got broken into. And they were dealing with trauma from leaving Palestine, and then they had issues here in the United States as well. My treasurer is a Palestinian Christian with family still in Palestine, and we hear regularly about what is going on there. As somebody who founded a PTSD support group after my experience at Discovery, I've been very focused on trauma-informed care and making sure that all of us as electeds, as community members, that we make sure that when we're reaching out to our community, that we're making sure that we are looking for signs of trauma, that what you might see as a reaction is not something that it's not one thing, it's another, and it's coming from that. So it's important that as people come here, as us as county officials, that people understand that they are safe here, that hate has no place here, and what is ever going on at the geopolitical level, here we are Marylanders, we are Montgomery County members, and we have each other's back.
Thank you. Fatma Taberi, running for County Council at Large. I think sometimes when we talk about these things and we try to explain away certain actions, we have to look at the humanity of the people, and I think that's partly what's missing. We don't see the humanity of each other, and that is what leads to all of this that's happening. We know that the UN has already defined this as a genocide. We know that there has already been major conversations internationally, and we know that, but as a county person and as a county elected official, hopefully, I won't be making a decision on international issues, on foreign issues, but what I can say is that I do believe that the Netanyahu government and Netanyahu himself has committed genocide in Gaza. It's not the Israeli people, it's not Israel, it's not the Jewish people. I know many Jewish people here who have said so, who have held up placards and who have, on many occasions, stood up against the Netanyahu government. And I think that's where we need to be. Thank you.
Thank you, and I won't repeat what was just mentioned by my good friend Fatmata. This issue is still being litigated. We know that a lot of people are dying in Gaza. We know that people were displaced. I often think about this entire county, over 1 million residents leaving this country, being forced to leave this country, being forced to live in uncertainty, not feeling safe, leaving everything that they know behind. I know that here at the local level, what our role is to ensure that we are not investing in any sort of actions or companies or initiatives that support those actions. We also have to call it out. The same way we call out anti-Semitism, we have to ensure we're calling out the murders and the vicious way that we are removing people from community and displacing them. This, is, and then we don't even have good media that's able to cover this and expose what's happening. I mean, we have to ensure that we are not investing taxpayer dollars. We want to make sure that your kids are feeling safe in their own communities, and we call out any issues that happen here in Montgomery County. That's why I supported investments for security at our schools so that we don't have any issues of violence here in the community. And we're having a proclamation at the council on Tuesday, and I hope that the community can come and stand in solidarity against gun violence.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Obviously, this is a passionate issue for all of us. I think it's fair to say, as a county council member running at large as a candidate, that we hope that people in the Middle East find peace and dignity wherever they are. That's all I can say about that, because I'm running to fix our schools, to fix our government, to make sure the potholes are fixed, to make sure that we here in Montgomery County are taking care of the business before us. Any candidate who's running to fix the conflicts in the Middle East is running for the wrong office. So we need to be thinking about what we can do here at home. Obviously, our hearts and our minds go to those people who suffer wherever they are suffering. But here at home, we must do the work that's before us.
Thank you.
So for this whole kind of unbearable interlude, I've tried to keep the community in Montgomery County together. And I've worked really hard to make sure everybody works. We continue working with each other. We continue to stand together when we have opportunities to stand together. And that it is hard to reconcile what's happened there. I don't know if anybody knows what I wrote the day after the Hamas attack, but what I wrote was, this needs to stop now. I knew where this was going to go. I hate to say I knew where it was going to go, but I knew exactly what Netanyahu was doing. He got the excuse he wanted to unleash what he wanted to unleash. And there's no other way to think about it. This is not a good person. And I don't know whether genocide's the right word, because they seem to be more focused on driving everybody out of the country, which is massive displacement. The murders are nothing less than mass murder. The unnecessary slaughter of civilians, to me, is just mind-boggling. We talk about Putin, and then the headline will be, massive bombing at Kiev, 12 people died. And this is outrageous. And I'm thinking, Palestinians are being killed at the rate of hundreds of people a day. And we equivocate about what that means and how severe that is. But Putin's a monster if 12 people die. There's something wrong with the way we equate these two things.
Thank you very much.
What Netanyahu's government is doing has been identified as a genocide, and I think that makes a lot of sense. So yes, and here in Montgomery County, there are lots of things that we have to focus on and get through together. I do think that part of that is the acknowledgement that I'm hearing asked for is important, and I think that is a way to address the pain. So I'm glad to have an opportunity to acknowledge that. We can't control foreign policy here, though, unfortunately. But what we can do is continue to do our best to be able to bridge those difficult divides, to have difficult conversations. There are, of course, disagreements, I'm sure, across the stage, but across Montgomery County. And we have to be able to recognize that that's okay, and to come together and to solve difficult problems here in Montgomery County to allow people to live safely and freely and manage our community here as best we possibly can. So I think it's an important question, and I appreciate that it was asked. Yeah, glad to have a chance to address it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. That's a very important question, and I'm sorry that I cannot address it as a candidate for judge. But I do want to say something, though. I'm a candidate for judge because, I think that there needs to be more fairness in the judicial system. And what I mean by that is that Maryland, according to the Justice Policy Institute, incarcerates a higher percentage of its young black males than any other state in the country. And the research shows that it is because the judges give them harsher sentences. Now, the way that, to me, relates to what we're discussing is that unfairness cannot be contained. Hate cannot be contained. When you are unfair to one group, after you're done with that group, you move on to another group. When you hate one group, after you're done with that group, you move into another group. So I think it's really important that we as people understand that we are humans and we should care more for each other. I look at the animal kingdom and I don't see animals killing one another for land. I see animals killing one another because they fear that they're going to die if they don't do something. So it's basically self-defense. I see them, killing one another because there might be resources that they will die if they don't get. But I don't see them saying, okay, I'm going
Thank
to
you very
kill
much,
another
Judge.
animal for it.
I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, so again, I appreciate the responses. It would be remiss of me as the moderator to just push back and say that, again, we were hoping for some very direct answers to some of the questions. I think, again, the community members appreciated some of the folks who addressed the question, is it a genocide, yes or no, very directly, because again, these are, I think a lot of the community members would agree that these are not just so distant foreign policy issues, but they affect the lives of Montgomery County residents every single day, whether it be through familiar connections or through the tax dollars at play, as we saw identified through, police training and funding of certain issues. And so I think there's going to be lots more conversation needing to have about that topic for sure. I'm going to move on because time is fleeting. And so this question, I'm going to actually ask it to, and a few of the last questions I'm going to direct it towards folks, and then hopefully everyone will get a chance to do their closing statements. So this question, I'm actually going to direct it towards Mr. Elridge and Mr. McNulty. And you may not necessarily have the answer for it directly as is, but maybe you can address the overlying issues. So this question is, in the federal agencies in Montgomery County, what percentage of the federal employees live outside of the county? And I'll broaden the question to maybe, because I think there's an assertion being made of, is there a population of folks who are working in Montgomery County agencies, government services, but don't actually reside within the county? And is that taking away from jobs maybe from Montgomery County residents who are then investing it back into? And again, I think that's what the question is asserting, but I think it'd be interesting to get a perspective from the business perspective and also just the overall, because I know you mentioned earlier.
Look, that's not a realistic assertion. I can tell, like in general, about a third of the population in Fairfax County leaves Fairfax County and works someplace else. We're about in the same place. You cannot have all jobs in one county. So people go to a job that they want to go to, they apply for the job. If they get the work, they get it. If they decide they can live with the commute across the stupid river, they make the commute across the stupid river. But that's true for Montgomery County residents who go to Virginia. So I don't think it's a significant issue. They're not taking jobs away from Montgomery County residents. If they weren't in the job, anybody else from West Virginia could apply for a job and decide they're willing to come into town and take the train down and work here. So I don't think it's a good point of comparison.
Yeah, fair point. Thank you. Mr. McNulty?
I guess I'll kind of flip the question a little bit because what I think the question is really getting at is that we don't have as many jobs near where we live that we would like. And we would like to, and we can't necessarily afford to live near where our jobs are. And I think that goes to one of the goals of Thrive 2050 is to have these communities and have these economic centers around the county. Complete communities, I think, is the term that's used. So that goes to making sure that we're attracting jobs, whether it's the federal agencies. And my wife is a federal employee, and thank God she has managed to keep her position through the Doge cuts, but it was a little white knuckle there for a while, and we were very concerned. But that's why we need to make sure that we're supporting our small businesses, because we have had so many people lose their jobs. We want to make sure that this very educated workforce has the opportunity to create their next opportunity here in Montgomery County, because the job market right now is difficult.
Awesome. I think.
Yeah, I want to jump into this, and I say this with due respect to everyone on stage. And as I've said at more than one debate, we are all family, guys. So after this, I would love to have a selfie with all of you, just to demonstrate that we're all family again. One of the bigger challenges that we have as a nation and as a region is that there are fewer young people, period, right? MCPS has seen a 10,000 child drop in enrollment over the last 4 years, and that is not going to slow down. And young families do not choose Montgomery County when they're making a decision about where to move. You can argue about why they do that. They choose, more often than not, Washington, D.C., Fairfax County, and Loudoun. And sometimes, if they're absolutely desperate to stay with our beautiful flag, because it's the best in the country, they'll go to Baltimore, right? They'll go up to the 410. And we know that because they'll go to all the halal restaurants right up there in Howard County. So the challenge we have is trying to convince people who are younger to move to our county and choose this as their forever home. I am here for family reasons, as I have already stated. My brother and sister need me. My parents need me, so I'm here. And I was born and raised in Montgomery County. In fact, I was born in the town of Goldie Hawn, and my mom is Goldie Khan. So figure that out. Prabhu is he's the third youngest candidate. He's 41. I'm 38. You have a problem in numbers when we are the youngest people on the stage. We have to take considerably seriously, very seriously, how we're going to convince all of your nieces and nephews and your grandchildren to move back to Montgomery County, because we are very lonely. We need more friends.
Awesome. So the next question, and I'm going to start it off with Mr. Goldberg, and then I'm going to try to get in Ms. Silvestri, and I wanted to go to Ms. Berry as well. So on the topic of jobs, right, one of the things that came up is AI. And from a very serious point, a few folks mentioned that what we know about jobs is that there's a lot of young folks, whether they be college graduates or high school students. Yep.
Is this thing on?
It is
Can you
on.
just speak slower? I'm putting this into ChatGPT, so that's gonna.
Oh. Yes. And so there's a concern of that the AI disruption is real, and it's taking jobs away from folks, and it's contributing to the jobs crisis. And so the question kind of centers around, is there a plan to AI-proof Montgomery County? Is that something that you would consider, or is there a need to address maybe the concerns that community members have around AI linked to job availability in the market, especially for young people?
Right. So it feels in our lifetime, Terminator 2 went from an action movie, now is closer to a documentary, right? And that's got to be concerning. The statistic that I said earlier, starting salary for college graduates is 8% lower last year than it was the year before. Part of that is because of artificial intelligence. I don't think we can AI-proof. I think the better move is to AI embrace, put restrictions on it, but use it as a tool. But be mindful that it is taking things from young people. So how do we continue to make sure young people have prosperous futures? Here's an example. In the legal world, new attorneys are actually being replaced by artificial intelligence. So because a lot of the jobs are research and reading, a lot of new attorneys, that's where they get their training. So we're skipping a generation of new attorneys, and you're only going to get middle-aged and old attorneys, which isn't the worst thing in the world, right? Because then they, right, fist bump for attorneys, there we go. But I think embracing it, figuring out how to navigate a world with AI instead of resisting it is probably the best course of action.
Yeah, I also agree that it's here to stay and we have to embrace it. And I think that our educational institutions in Montgomery County, Montgomery College, University of Shady Grove, the school system, we have to make sure that we are learning the new technology so that we are not only using it, but knowing how to create it so that we can be creators of this new AI and technology. That's how we're going to get those good paying jobs, is educating our community to create the technology of the future.
So we'll get, so for transparency's sake, we have 5 minutes left. I was going to try to get in another round of questions for the folks that didn't answer, but we're running short on time. So I think what we'll do is I asked Ms. Berry to respond to this one, and then Dr. Okay. So I was going to give the last comment to Dr. Salvam because he joined us late, and then we'll do closing rounds, and everyone can chime in on it. We're probably going to go over 9:30, just a heads up, but.
It sounds like it. It seems like it, yeah.
I hope we get out of here before it's 100.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I can't stay. I gotta go. But
You ready?
Go ahead. We're ready.
Okay. Okay, so it's here, right? It's here. And just like every other advancement that has come and stayed, some came and went. The BlackBerry came and went, but others came and stayed, and they keep getting bigger and bigger. So yes, it's here. Education is key, and ensuring that there are protections. We have to put protections. So in other words, we hear all these things about people's personal information being used or taken. We already know that people do that anyway, and now they have a higher way of doing it. So it's making sure that as we're putting policies in place, we're considering artificial intelligence. We're not just talking about what you and I can do, but talking about what this thing can do in a heartbeat. So education and policies and making sure that people are educated enough that they don't lose their jobs to artificial intelligence, but work with it.
Thank you very much. And I'm going to give a 30-second to the doctor, and then we're going to start closing statements with Mr. McNaughty because I know some of us have a very hard stop at 9:30.
Black and Latino children in Montgomery County have a 50% gap in math and science performance. So if we want to compete with AI, we have to improve our science and math education first. Workforce training programs in Montgomery College in biotechnology and in other trades that use your hands like manufacturing and construction is really important for us to invest in. And then finally, the healthcare workforce. We have a senior population that's growing at 4 times the rate of the rest of the population. Investing in long-term care, child care, those are businesses and sectors that are not going to go to robots. People have to do that human-based care. Let's invest in that because we have a need for it anyway, and we can do that in a way that grows our economy and solves a problem that we already have.
Alrighty, so again, I apologize. I wish we had enough time in the world to get to all of these topics. They're very important. So what we're going to do is, this is your take-home message, right? We're 1 minute for closing statements. I'm going to again start with Mr. McNaughty because we have to respect everyone's time, and some of us have.
How long do you want us to go?
1 minute.
1 minute. Thank you very much. Everybody, thank you so much for being here tonight. You could be anywhere on a Friday, although I know that, you know, as a person of faith also, this is the center of our community, right? And what I love about Montgomery County is the ability to connect across so many different cultures. As a council member in Gaithersburg, which is the most diverse city in America, Montgomery County having 4 of the most diverse cities and communities in America, this is that tapestry that makes us what we are. You know, I grew up in Pennsylvania. We lived in Tennessee for a little bit, and when we go back there and it is so homogeneously white, my kids even go, whoa, it's kind of weird, right? They've grown up with this. So I love the fact that this community brings so many different pieces together. As somebody who worked in television for so many years, I come from a collaborative background. I'm used to working with multiple stakeholders, bringing different ideas together to make something better. And that's what I want to do on the Montgomery County Council. I've been elected twice in Gaithersburg. I've worked on zoning. I've worked on economic development. I can hit the ground running on day 1. Montgomery County is at a crossroads, as you've heard. If you are looking for change, we have an opportunity to get pragmatic people who understand leadership and who can take us forward. My name is Jim McNulty. Thank you for your time, and I hope to see you again soon.
Thank you, Mr. McNulty. Yes, and we thank Mr. McNulty for joining us today. We're going to go to Mr. I didn't get any other requests, so I'm just going to go in the order that I have.
Thank you.
selected.
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Miten Banerjee. Go to mitenbanerjee.com. I have the very detailed list what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is, number 1, free universal child care by raising tax on rich. Free pre-K by raising tax on businesses making profit more than $1 million a year. And also stop illegal deportation without due process. And also stop the liquor sale and convert them into the grocery stores, because it's not good for health. Also, what we need public housing. We don't have that. We have so many homelessness people. We need to convert that, and any properties in sale, the apartment complexes, the county should buy that under my leadership and house them and prioritize people, first firefighters, police, nurses, teachers, para-teachers, service employees, everybody, so that they can live close to where they work. And also we need to stop hate. Somebody asking you a question about why you took government funds of $173,000 out of $259,000, name calling is not an answer by a white person to a minority. We need to stop that racism. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Vicky?
If you're looking for somebody to get things done, I'm the person. I have a track record for single-handedly changing a state law, working with Adrian Mandel to assist the disabled individuals. I've worked with the county on 6 different things, including a zoning text amendment, reduction of fire protection fees for every single multifamily dwelling in Montgomery County, which was millions because they set them up so poorly against us, and a variety of other things. And I look for what is causing the pain in a community, and let's deal with it. Let's be straightforward. I'm a plain talker. I'm very innovative. I am willing to work. As I told the last group, I will work half days for you, which is 12 hours. Okay. So I'm hoping that you'll take me seriously, go to the bottom of the at-large and look for VV, Vicky Vergani, and let's start bringing more equity and compassion into the community. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Silvestri?
All right. Carla Silvestre, I asked for your vote. I came to Montgomery County with my husband 18 years ago when he got a job with the federal government. He works for the State Department. And he got a great job. There was a great elementary school for my daughters. We rented a house in a beautiful tree-lined Silver Spring neighborhood, beautiful library. My daughters learned to swim at the MLK pool. Montgomery County created the conditions for my family to thrive. And that's what I want for all of our residents, for Montgomery County to continue to provide the great services so that we all can thrive. You have 4 votes for the at-large. Please make Carla Silvestre one of them. Thank you.
With 11 seconds to spare, thank you very much. We're going to go to Mr. Goldberg.
Let's give a round of applause to Aziz. He did a great job tonight. Yes. Excellent. I was just trying to stall, man. We have a lot to think about in this election and every election, because that's what democracy is about, right? It's every 2 years, every 4 years. We've got to rethink what our priorities are and how we're going to address them. You've got a lot of chaos in Washington, D.C. right now. You've got a lot of negativity, a lot of fighting, a lot of conflict. If you are looking for someone to bring some joy to the democratic process, if we're going to disagree and be agreeable afterward, I'm the candidate for you. On your ballot, you're going to see 17 names. I'm going to be the 6th from the top, Scott Evan Goldberg. You get 4 votes. I'm asking you for one of them. Thank you for putting this on tonight. Thank you for participating in our democracy.
Look at that, with 5 seconds left. Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Goldberg. We're going to go with, we're going to go with Mr. Elrich. I have my order written down, so.
So thank you all for being here tonight. And I'm happy I can come out and talk. But I just want to say that look at what people are actually proposing for solutions. It's not enough to just say we're all concerned about affordability or we're all concerned about this or that. What are you going to do about it? I can tell you in my time as executive, on the east side of the county, every single shopping center that was stuck is now being developed, every single one of them. In White Oak, which was totally stalled for over a decade, I'm the one that put in place a TIF that allows them to finance it, and we are working with the owners of the White Flint Mall to do the exact same thing over there. The Institute of Health Computing, University of Maryland, brought here because I asked them to create an AI institute to work with the drug discovery companies in Montgomery County. 2 years after I talked to them about it, they said, you were right, we're going to do it. I have solutions. I've worked on solutions. I care about this. I don't do slogans. I certainly don't do sound bites. I talk to people about what are the real issues and what are the real solutions. And I would appreciate your vote on June 23rd. And thank
Thank
you
you
for
very
being here
much.
tonight and listening.
Thank you very much. We're going to go with Mr.
Thank you, everybody, for coming this evening and for sticking it out on a Friday night. My name is Matt Losack. I'm running for County Council at Large, mattforcouncil.com. I've been living in this county for at least 2 decades. I was chair of the Silver Spring Citizens Advisory Board. I served in the Peace Corps. I've worked in the White House and on Capitol Hill, and I've worked in local and state government. And I've also been working in every apartment community in Montgomery County and beyond. It's very important that we think about how stable housing, affordable housing, relates to jobs, relates to academic achievement, relates to overall prosperity in our county. Some of my friends on this dais are endorsed by the landlord, developer, and real estate industry, and they are not running with the idea that stable, affordable housing protected by rent stabilization and other rent protections needs to be strengthened. So you need to look closely at your voter guides and see where people stand on these issues. Nothing can be more important in our view than stable, affordable housing and an effective, efficient government.
Thank you very
Matt
much.
Losack, thanks.
All righty, Ms. Berry.
Assalamu alaikum. So thank you, everyone, for being here. Again, Fatma Taberi, running for Montgomery County Council at Large. If you're looking for somebody who has an entire time living here, fought for what's right, fought for our community, fought for people who live next door to me, not just people who look like me, but people who I know have been struggling in this county for as long as I've lived here, then you have the right person here standing in front of you. Vote for me because I will, as I smile, as I work with everyone, fight hard for you, for me, for my nieces and nephews who are only trying to make it here, for children with special needs, because that's my heart, for our seniors, because I have parents who are aging and are in need of assistance right now, for people who are working hourly wages and having to work double, triple shifts in order to make it in this county. I'm that person who will do that. I'm the person who has always spoken up for our community. You can find it anywhere you want. You just have to Google my name and you will know.
Thank you.
So thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum, and I hope you have a great night.
Thank you very much. Ms. Sharon Creed.
My name is Sharon Creed. I will run for the Board of Education. Currently, people use AI a lot, but if our kids use AI to write, they do not know how to write. So if you elect me, I will tell the school, do not let the kids use AI. We have to teach the kids how to write, right? That is the best thing I can do. I will do everything good for you and good for your kids. Don't forget to vote me, Sharon Creed. I'm on your side. Thank you.
Thank you. All righty, Ms. Sales.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you so much for having us. When I think about this role, I think about my upbringing and being the daughter of Jamaican immigrants. I think of Luke 12:48, to whom much is given, much is required. I was a single mom. I was elected to the Gaithersburg City Council and received even more responsibility when I was elected countywide to represent over 1 million residents. I ran on a SMART agenda to strengthen our commitment to education from cradle to career and beyond. That's for our early learners and our working families. I want to make affordable a reality, not just a soundbite. That has to do with increasing how quickly we build homes and how quickly we bring jobs to the economy. Ensuring we know where our food comes from is so important. We don't know what's happening. You look at the food labels. We have a lot of work to do, and our ag reserve is a solution. And we have to revitalize our economy. We can have as many discussions, but there are too many smart people in this room that I've spoken to in this county that we can ensure that we take this county forward. And last but certainly not least, we have environmental issues. We talk about AI. We have to ensure that whatever technology comes is done in a clean and a way where we can evaluate it for oversight and protect our communities.
Thank you very much. I know
Lori
Lori
Ann Sales, Sales 4, that's the number 4, moco.com for 4 more years.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Well, I know a minute is fast. Councilmember Mink.
When I came into office, about 4 years ago now, I saw that rents were too high and families were struggling. And I was proud to partner with Councilmember Will Jawando, who I have endorsed for county executive and who has endorsed me as well, to work with him on rent stabilization. We actually worked together with Mark Elrich as our county executive who'd done rent stabilization before in drafting a bill which is the content of mostly, we went through a long debate with 2 bills on the table. Most of what passed came from the bill that we worked on together, and I'm proud that we have those protections in place. Having been on the ground with residents facing eviction, trying to help them to move their things, trying to get sheriffs to delay, I put forward a bill that now means that residents get 2 weeks notice, and the county gets 2 weeks notice if someone is going to be evicted, and that allows us to intervene, to try to get those bills paid, to try to prevent that eviction. When I saw that we had slumlords, I put forward a bill which we passed that now allows the county to sue slumlords. So when I saw, one last thing that I'll say is that on the economic development side, I do want to note Viva White Oak, and I so appreciate Mark's leadership in that space, and I was glad to partner with him to ensure that a brand new tax increment financing plan went through daily calls with the developers and with the executive branch. It's going to be thousands of jobs.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. And then we're going to go with the representative from Radwan Chowdhury campaign.
Again, my name is Nahid. I'm here to represent my husband, Radwan Chaudhary, who is running for Montgomery County Council at large. Tonight, I humbly ask for your trust, your support, and your vote for Radwan Chaudhary for Montgomery County Council at large. You can vote for people. Please consider Radwan Chaudhary one of them. Get to know more about his policy. Please visit his website, Radwan Chaudhary, radwancampaign.com, radwanchaudharycampaign.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And we're going to go to Judge Pierre.
Well, from your mouth to God's ears. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mary Lynn Pierre, and I'm a candidate for Montgomery County Circuit Court Judge. I think it's really important that when we go into the courtroom, we are treated with compassion, dignity, and respect. The law is interpreted in many different ways by many different people, and I think it's really important that we choose wisely. In my race, there are 5 people running for 4 positions, and you could vote for 4 people, and I've heard these nice people say, vote for 4 people, including themselves, but I'm going to be selfish, because realistically, we need to be selfish. We have 4 people who were chosen for us. No one asked us why, we should have these people over anybody else. I am a candidate for judge because the law was, Governor Marvin Mendel was finding that the commission was not appointing people of certain color, certain gender, and so therefore he made it possible for people who were not appointed to run for judge. So that's why I'm running for judge. Thank you. Please vote Maryland for Maryland. I'm number 5 on your ballot. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and we're going to take it over here and do Dr. Prabhu.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Dr. Prabhu Selvam. I'm an Air Force officer veteran, ER physician and humanitarian aid worker, born as a son of immigrants and raised here in Montgomery County. In the work that I do, I'm face-to-face with families in their most difficult challenges, and I'm accountable to making their lives better. I have to be taking responsibility for what I can and cannot do for them, and that level of responsibility is something that I'm very comfortable with and looking forward to serving that way on the county council. I'm deeply connected to the Muslim community. I grew up in Germantown in the homes of my Muslim classmates, attending iftar with them. Visiting my family in India, I would run to the roof to listen to the call to prayer because I found it to be so peaceful and calming. I've served in Afghanistan. I have close friends. Some of my best friends are from people that I served with in Afghanistan who are interpreters and colleagues for me there. And in my humanitarian work, as I mentioned, I work with communities around the world, including in Sudan, in Gaza, all over the world. And so for me, it's about serving humanity, seeing every single person as valuable and as an equal member of our society, and working to uplift the most vulnerable, doing that in a way that's economically sustainable, growing our economy so that we can be living into our compassionate values at the same time.
Thank you. And last, but certainly not least, Mr. Hamza Khan.
Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Hamza Khan. I'm running for county council at large. I grew up in this mosque. My first Eid Salah was in the new mosque back then in March 1994. This is home for me. This is where I went to Sunday school. I am not running because I want to make this a career. I'm running because my family lives here. My brother and sister have made it clear they want this to be their forever home, and therefore I need my county to be well run. On that point, just to remind you, my name is Hamza Khan. It means Lion King. My nickname is Simba. You can call me that if you want. I have grown up with this entire community. My mentors included a Somali American Marine named Guled Qasim, who ran for county council in Council 3 in this district. My mentors have included Palestinian leaders, Imam Abdullahi. On my campaign, the steering committee, we have Uncle Habib Ghanem, who's a former board member here, Rashid Makhdoom, who was president of this mosque, Sabir Rahman, who left, who was on the board of trustees. I'm invested here. This county hasn't elected a Muslim in 20 years. Think about that hard, 20 years. That is not an accident when you have 110,000 Muslims living in this county. I am running because I care about this community. Economic development, small businesses, affordability, our school system, the nonstop shootings that are happening in our school system, public safety issues, taking care of our roads. All of these things matter to me. They are on my agenda because I care, because I have to. I live here. I hope you'll all vote for me. I'm one of your 4. And I'm going to end on this point. I have a meet and greet at Dr. Asif Qadri's home, the founder of the MCC clinic, this Sunday at 4 p.m. You're all invited. Please come and join us.
We're going to join you there then.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, look, can I say, on this, they make it look very easy to do this on the TV, to moderate debates like this. So I have had a lot of fun doing this tonight. Will I do it again? I'm just kidding. But thank you guys so much for joining us here tonight. I think I got a kick out of it on the Friday. I'm going to just give a few closing remarks, then you can take all the pictures you want, Brother Habib. So thank you, first of all, candidates, for coming out here. I had a lot of fun and lots of memories to take away from this night. Yes. So I just want to repeat, thank you. The purpose of this forum was to educate our community. MCC does not endorse, support, or oppose any candidate or political party. All candidates for relevant offices were invited on equal terms, and this forum existed solely just to inform voters and encourage civic participation. And on that note, we encourage you to participate in the civic engagement. I apologize for any shortcomings. I tried my best to get through all the questions. We thank our candidates, and again, apologize to you guys for cutting you off, and I was trying my best to stick to the timing. Thank you for visiting our community. We hope to see whether you're successful or not, that you come back and visit our community and engage with our community so that our voices and our concerns and our issues are represented at all levels of county government. As we mentioned, county government, local office has a direct impact on our day-to-day lives, so it's important that you guys get to mingle with them. Take their flyers, take their brochures, because I'm sure there's a lot more to read up on where they stand on particular issues and how it benefits you. So on that note, thank you so much for coming out. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.